everything I've done in life, I could say I won, even if I didn't have the outcome that I wanted to have. Because at the end of the day, if you're that type of individual, you've learned from that and you made those pivots or you made those adjustments, and you made that growth um, intellectually, to be able to go into the right path moving forward. I think that in politics, it's just it's a comedic comic book. It's a traveling circus, and you have these political influencers, these antagonists, these content predators, and these different individuals who are they're like leeches. They feed off of that type of information. Of course, they feed off of it online. They don't feed off of it in real life because they don't want that smoke. They don't want that attention. They don't want that ass whooping, and they don't want to be, because in real life it's serious. It's another level, especially playing with me. But I got into politics because I wanted to present an alternative. I knew what I've seen in the past in politics, and being red pilled by a good friend of mine who ran for office. It opened my eyes up to a lot, and we. From the beginning, we put everything out there. The reason why people are able to say anything about me is because I've allowed those things to stay out there so they can actually use those things and also promote me freely without me paying a single dime. Because what I realize is that the work will outweigh the drama. The work will outweigh the narrative that they are trying to create or pigeonhole me into. Because the reason why I knew it wouldn't work is because my narrative is going to continue to grow and to evolve as I continue to collaborate, as I continue to travel, as I continue to connect with people on a real ground roots level, from being in actual communities or in these particular industries that are in need, that have questions, that have ideals and solutions, that need a voice and a vessel to get those things accomplished. So I had a long-term vision when it comes to everything that's happened. And you have to look at things like a marathon versus a sprint, which is why you can't be just overly reactive. You have to be patient, and pace is everything. And one of the best attributes that I've learned in the art of war, you have to sometimes let people feel like they won. Because from the sidelines, enjoying your popcorn, you get to see your plan just play out. It's like a puppet master, right? You know what moves are going to be made because there's so much ego and vain that's a part of it, right? And so you can play on that if you understand it, if you acknowledge that, and you're willing to be patient during the process. You go through all the little things and you let them do all the little talking and the posts and everything else that they're doing. But behind the scenes, you just work smart, and karma is a real thing, and it works out how it works out, and you just keep pushing. But more importantly, you just try to be your best self. I don't think that a governor needs to be the smartest person in the state. I don't think the governor is a leader just because they're rich. I don't think a governor, a person is qualified for governor just because they are already in city government, local government, statewide government. I don't believe that. If that was true, we would be in this particular mess that we are, because that's been our selective process and thought process in the past and even in current day, which is why it was so hard for some people to understand why I was the best choice. And the reason why I was the best choice, because I was unimpressionable. I didn't have long-standing relationships with political figures or corporate companies, and I really was going to go in with a wrecking ball, and I probably still can go in with a wrecking ball in 2022, because the need is even more so for an alternative and relatable leadership at the end of the day, which is what I was telling people. It's really about relatable leadership and nothing else. Being a governor of California means that you have to be a strong leader. You have to have the ability to actively listen, not only to your constituents within the body of the office, but also your constituents throughout the entire state that's a part of these communities, that's a part of these industries. Because oftentimes what you'll find out is that some of these people have the means and the intelligence to solve their own issues. It's just for us to get out of the way as government with our regulations and restrictions, and allow them to flourish. Look what's happening to our farming industry. In the next 10, 15 years, there will be a very minimum. We're on a trajectory to have one of the most minimum farming, agricultural platforms ever, simply because behind the scenes, what they're not telling us, the reason why they're restraining all that water is not because it's bad for us and what farmers are doing. It's because they want to introduce 3D meat. They want to introduce 3D, fruit or whatnot. They're not talking about that. No different than like with everything that's going on with all the pandemic or whatnot. They're not talking about the wellness aspect of it. They're not talking about the millions of people who have recovered from this. They're talking about only the death and only the cases in hospitalization. Why? Because there's more power and control and fear. There's more power and control and fear. And so the office of Major Williams is going to fight back against that narrative. We're going to cultivate new emerging talent that's going to run for offices. And we're going to create political influencers that really do the work, but also have talent to go and oust those other individuals that are trying to hold on to the reins and push their Kuna vision. It's time to reject that, and we're going to move on, and we're going to show a lot of people what we're made of in 2022. And we won't hold back, and there won't be any mercy when it comes to it, because we have a country to save, and we also have a state to save. And it's time to think major about the future of California.